You want to hear some real talk? Here's some real talk, right? Real talk, real talk. Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. So, over 12,000 Jamaicans have been murdered since Vybz Kartel has been incarcerated. Yet you still have people out here who talk about keep Vybz Kartel locked up. He's the most dangerous thing ever. Let me tell you something. Bad mind are the worstest disease. Cartel said that, and in Jamaica it is actually absolutely so. Majority of the crabs that are in the barrel are vexed and upset. Some of them who were subscribers, were friends, were supporters, were fans in the beginning, they slowly jumped off ship because they started getting upset. They're like, blood clot, 5 years gone now and this man still have money for a fight case. I thought he would have been under the jail by now. Fuck, 10 years. And he's still fighting the damn case. This man must have a whole heap of money. Let me tell you something about Vybz Kartel being in a situation where he is. As much as the struggle and troubles he is going through, he is in a better position than a lot of you out here who are free, that are hating on him and praying for his demise. That's just so. And most of you, no matter how you twist your mouth to make your talk, I know that you didn't follow the case through and through. It's the same justice system that you curse all the time. That you say, whole heap of crooked police in there, yo, me hate them politician, yeah. You're the same person who say that all the time. Look at the other day. Big gang they found in Clarendon called the Ranco gang that have a bag of police in it. Look, news headline this very morning. 2 police officers put on plain clothes, robbed 2 business people of $14 million plus and trying to board a plane to get out of the country and was caught at the airport. Same police officers them catch in Fort Lauderdale, in Atlanta, Georgia, at the airport, transporting cocaine in the kilos when they're supposed to be at work, on the clock, in uniform, in Jamaica. So nobody come tell me about no system and system set right and all that. And again, I keep on telling people, go and look at something that's called the Innocence Project. Sit and watch a couple episodes of the Innocence Project for yourself, and you will start to get a good understanding of how easy it is for a situation to look like an individual is guilty until you get to the meat of the matter. Many people have been freed through the same program called Innocence Project I'm telling you to go look at. But again, most of my people, they prefer to be online. Them not read books again, and they definitely don't read newspaper and articles anymore. They read comment sections on social media. And one idiot tell a next idiot what to say, and then you have a group of idiots running around saying the same thing. With that said, I've already said my piece as far as what their plans are for Vybz Kartel in his incarceration, and I've already said the reason why Vybz Kartel is still incarcerated in Jamaica. Make no bones about it. I followed this case intricately from start to finish, or to where it's at now, because it's not finished yet. And I can tell you inside outside details. 99% of the people who get on social media, follow my videos, and leave some I hate Vybz Kartel comments when I go live on YouTube and I say call in and let's have a debate on the topic, the idiot them can't hang. And yes, I use idiot respectively. Them can't hang because all they can say is, me no like him, me just no like him. Yeah, what happened to the voice note? What happened to the voice note, SouFLo? And that's about all they can say. There is no intelligence put into their argument as to why he is where he is. Yet still, this morning headline, Jamaica serial rapist, 12 counts of rape. Draw with the people, them little 9-year-old and 8-year-old girls, bring them in the bush, rape them off, and all this. Ends up getting, 23 years? After 15 years, he is eligible for parole, right? And these are young ladies who are victimized in such a gruesome manner, and they will have to live with this experience in their minds. Will never take time to talk to a rape victim yet, to hear what a rape victim goes through. There are women out here who got raped when they were little girls and when they were teenagers, and they're now my mother age. I mean, at them 60s, and they're in their 50s and 70s, 40s, and they're still going through trauma. And y'all look at this man and many more like him. The pastor the other day that was convicted of rape. A bunch of other cases I can bring up out of Jamaica just to prove to you that it's not about justice when it comes to Vybz Kartel. It's about keeping him where he is at for a particular purpose. Now, today's news headline, shout out to the Star, says Vybz Kartel takes the government to court. The entertainer says that placement in solitary confinement breaches his constitutional rights. And I see somebody comment saying, boy, to get to him in there now, you know. I never see a man can ball, so. Hey, you big idiot. You out a road, beating off your two thumbs on some phone where you type foolishness. What you mean? It'll get to him now. Who the hell go sit down in prison comfortably? But it'll get to him now. See, that's what some of you wish, right? You wish he would go silent. Not only that, again comes the bad mind thing. Because the longer Kartel is in jail and the more he continues to excel, even in the free world where you are at, he is more respected than you by people who exist in a circle that you cannot even penetrate, by people who have things that you wish and dream for and still cannot accomplish. His children are accomplishing more than you are accomplishing in life as well. So the people them get a jealous in a kind of way where boy them want them bury him under the jail, you know, which is not just for Vybz Kartel, but that's pretty much how we are in general as Jamaicans. They will say to you, yeah man, SouFlo, me wish you all the best, you know, and I hope the thing grow. And then behind your back, they pray what we call bad prayer. I pray the whole away him to pop down. I hope him don't succeed, you know. At least me hope him not come do better than me anyway. They'll wish you good, but they never wish that you do better than they do. And once you start, then it's time to stop wishing you good. It's time to unsubscribe, unfollow, unsupport, and time to join the bandwagon of tearing your ass down after they had helped to lift you up in the first place. That's how we do. So here's the story. Vybz Kartel has taken the government of Jamaica to court over the Department of Corrections Services decision to place him in solitary confinement. The entertainer, whose given name is Adidja Palmer, which we all know, has been in a 23 hours lockdown since last month. However, his lawyer, Mr. Isat Buchannan, has filed documents in the Supreme Court seeking several declarations, among them being that Kartel's right to due process was breached by the Correctional Service as he was placed in solitary confinement without even a hearing. The Minister of National Security and the Attorney General have been named as respondents to the court documents. Kartel was placed in the restricted cell following the discovery of cell phones on a block where he was being housed at the Tower Street Adult Correctional Center in Kingston. Let's repeat that for some slow people and some liar people who picked up a phone and are calling themselves vloggers. Vybz Kartel was placed in a restricted cell following the recovery or discovery of a cell phone that was on a block where he was being housed. Somehow in a lie, I've seen the stories out here. Vybz Kartel get catch with the phone. Hey my peeps, welcome back again to the channel. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That's how they be on YouTube, right? And then them start talk about Vybz Kartel get catch with the phone, you know, it did in him pocket or it did hide in him shirt or. You guys are so lie, and you spread this misinformation for what? For people that want to believe that kind of stuff. You know what them say? Them say if you really want to know who really don't like you, have somebody say some bad things about you and watch how quickly they agree with the bad things that are said about you, the lies, instead of actually waiting to find out the truth, right? Yeah, man, a long time him stay someone. Me not like him neither. That kind of talk, when in truth, nothing not go so enough. But they just couldn't wait for something to hang on to, how them don't like you so much. Anyways, his attorney, in a recent interview, said that he has been in solitary confinement since Labor Day, which is May 23rd of 2023. Today is June 9th of 2023. He's locked up, and he's locked away for 23 hours a day. And I can confirm that since lockdown, he has picked up an infection from the lockdown, and he's being treated for that now, is what his attorney said. I've seen 2 videos come out of Jamaica from the prison system. One man caught a flesh-eating bacteria and lost a limb, I believe, or it was eating up some part of him. Another man, more recent video I saw, actually also was getting his skin eaten up by a bunch of stuff that was around there in the dirty prison. And then he eventually ended up losing his sight. These are real stories that I'm telling you about that happens inside of these prisons. Here's the funny thing. Some people are going to say, yes, prison them. And when them in there, treat them like animal and the worst things to them. Let's not forget, Vybz Kartel never said he murdered anybody. He is still fighting an appeal. See? And he has been granted the right to an appeal. That is why his case sits at the Privy Council in the UK. People have a right to say, I didn't do it, and I will prove that I didn't do it. Let's take it to the highest courts. But of course, most of you have already held your own courts. Those of you who don't like the man for whatever reason that has nothing to do with the case, because again, you have not studied the details of this case. If you did, you would have seen that a lot of breaches happened in this case, and the case should have been thrown out a long time ago. We're not going to discuss that case in details though. I'm just saying, one thing I don't want you to do, right, which a lot of you will anyways. You see people in prison that are doing short time. Prison is supposed to be about rehabilitation. Don't take that word out of it. Rehabilitation. But if you lock me up and torture me for 10-15 years, I can guarantee you that when I come out, I am not going to be rehabilitated. I am going to be filled with vengeance, right? And then me not care if me dead or me live, because I'm trying to kill as much of uno and destroy as many lives before I go too. After all, the common sense is you better advocate for rehabilitation for everybody that goes in there, right? And then remember also that when these people come out, they are to be integrated back into society. These same people are going to be your next door neighbor, you know. These same people are going to be your next door neighbor. Remember that. So you don't want your daughter or son to stand up out a road one night and somebody who just did 5 years or 10 years and was tortured ridiculously behind bars and now has mental issues that they didn't have going in, take up a gun and slap off your daughter or son's face, or walk up and just stab out them chest for no reason because they're going through things and they're hurting and they want others to hurt too. That is the reality of this whole prison thing. Now back to the Vybz Kartel story, because I know I went off on a little teaching tangent then. Here what may I say. The Minister of National Security and the Attorney General has been named as respondents to the court documents. Kartel was placed in the restricted cell following the discovery of a cell phone that was on the cell block where he was being housed. It was not found on his person. It was not even found in his cell. It was found on the cell block that has many cells on it. And he was the one that was placed in solitary confinement, even though no one on the cell said that the cell phone belongs to him. He is locked up and he's locked away 23 hours a day. His attorney says that he can confirm the lockdown and said that he has picked up an infection from the lockdown, which he is now currently being treated for. Solitary confinement is a form of imprisonment in which the inmate lives in a single cell with little or no meaningful contact with other people. It has been proven in the United States of America that solitary confinement has sent 99.999% of the individuals that have been put in it into a psychosis, to where they have to be put on medication even after they are released from incarceration. They have to be placed on psych medication because they're mad out. His attorney, Isat Buchannan, said that Vybz Kartel is also suffering from Graves' disease, which, if you know Wendy Williams, more popular, how you doing? That Wendy Williams, Wendy is suffering from the same thing. That is why at times you will see Wendy Williams' eyes bulging severely. Go look her up on Google. And just like how a lot of you Google porn, is the same way you can Google Graves' disease and learn something about it. It's an autoimmune illness and it requires urgent medical treatment. Being locked in a place that is dusty and that has poor ventilation will only exacerbate his medical condition, and it can do so to the point where it causes other issues like issues to the heart and other vital organs, which can eventually lead to death. Now, since the 23-hour lockdown, it is apparent that his health is deteriorating. His attorney says, I can speak to the fact that his neck is swollen, and it's swollen more than usual, and that his eyes are protruding a little bit more than usual, and it is clear that he is under stress when he is breathing. Isat Buchannan said this in an interview with this newspaper. He also said it in an interview with Fox 5 News recently out of the United States of America on Fox 5 News. Everybody else knows the story already. Vybz Kartel and his co-convicts Sean Storm Campbell, Kahira Jones, Andre St. John, they are all serving a life sentence for the 2011 murder of Clive Lizard Williams, a person who disappeared and has not been found yet. Also, there is no DNA evidence linking Vybz Kartel to this case whatsoever. There is no solid evidence linking him to the case whatsoever. One circumstantial evidence that would have stood strong on a cell phone was debunked by an expert who flew into the country to overlook and to go through that cell phone footage, voice notes, and left with the decision that it was heavily tampered with. They were convicted in 2014. Vybz Kartel has been ordered to serve 35 years before he is eligible for parole, while Campbell, which is Sean Storm, his parole is eligible after he has served 25 years. St. John Jones will have to serve 30 years and 25 years respectively before they are eligible for parole. So the men were in 2020 granted conditional leave to go to the Privy Council to challenge their murder conviction. However, they will not be able to present fresh evidence at the appeal, is what this article is saying. Meanwhile, Buchanan, in documents that were filed before the Supreme Court, has sought an order that would prohibit the DCS from placing Vybz Kartel, or the Department of Corrections from placing Vybz Kartel in solitary confinement due to those conditions being a breach of his constitutional rights. The fact that his conviction is being appealed and that his current health condition is the way that it is. The lawyer is also seeking damages for breach of Vybz Kartel's constitutional rights, which means that the government could be required to pay money to the entertainer if the court agrees. This matter is expected to be heard in court next week. Let me end this video by saying this. I'm not looking forward to that, because I'm not looking forward to what they're going to say. It is the same system that put him in there, that wants him held in there for the reasons I have stated before that they held him in there. To cut this one short, I want you to go watch my video that's called The Plan to Kill Vybz Kartel Behind Bars. It's a serious thing, it's a real thing, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're not trying to pay out any money. They're not trying to see Vybz Kartel walk free. They're not trying to be sued for 11 years, 12, 13 years worth of income, defamation of character, and everything else that goes with him being wrongfully placed in a prison when it shows that he wasn't the one that killed this person, Clive Lizard Williams, who went missing. They are not trying to be on the end of this spectrum where they are seen as wrong or they made a mistake. Right now, they are going down with the sinking ship. They want Kartel where he is. They're going to do everything in their power to keep him where he is. Even while in front of us, we see murders and murderers admit to murdering and getting worse just a little bit of time, while Vybz Kartel still has to sit there taking on 35 years before eligible for parole. I will leave you with this one, the Beachy Stout case, because it was very popular. Right, Beachy Stout has been sitting and waiting now to be tried on 2 murder charges, one for his first wife, one for his second wife, right? I'll tell this story again. The guys that Beachy Stout allegedly paid the money to have his wife Tanya executed, killed in a manner that he described because he wanted his bloodlust satisfied in a certain way. The guy who actually was contracted to do the killing, he went before the judge. He told the judge how he could not do it because Tanya knew him too good and it hurt him too much to do it. So he subcontracted somebody else to do it and he watched them do it. And he talked to the judge describing how the man grabbed her around the neck, around the headrest of the car seat, and pulled her in by the neck and then stabbed her in her chest multiple times and then slit her throat. He talked about how they set the car on fire and everything else that happened to the specifications of how the boss man wanted it done. That man walked away. After that kind of a testimony, that girl never do you nothing. You took her life in a gruesome manner. He got about 17 years, I believe. And 17 years meaning he will probably do about 10 to 12 and he will be home for a gruesome murder like that. The other person who he said actually did it and he watched him do it, that person was released on bail. So again, if you think that Vybz Kartel is in prison because Jamaica's justice system cares about justice, you are one of them. Listen, I have the Brooklyn Bridge, right? And I'm selling it for $14.99 in Jamaican money. Come buy one. I'll catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Freedom, we're saying Freedom. Peace.